people kind of whitewash St. Joseph's story a little bit in the Bible, but think about this. The three kings come, they bring tens of thousands of dollars worth of goods. They bring gold, frankincense, and myrrh, incredibly expensive commodities. That happens on the 13th day after Christ is born. So Christ is 2 weeks old. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph now have tens of thousands of dollars in their possession. Fast forward to when Jesus is 40 days old, the presentation at the temple. Jesus and Mary and Joseph offer the poor man's sacrifice. They offer 2 turtle doves, not the sheep. Okay, so in the span of 13 days to 40 days old, they've lost all their money. Where did it go? St. Alphonsus Liguori says that Joseph knew that it was God's plan for the Holy Family to be very poor, and so shortly after receiving the gifts from the wise men, they distributed all of that money in alms, or at least as much as they prudently possibly could. So 40 days, they're poor. They offer the poor man's sacrifice in the temple. Then what happens? Well, Herod catches wind that there's this Messiah that everyone's talking about in the temple, and so Herod prepares to kill all of the young boys in the hill country of Judea. So Joseph, who, by the way, is poor, keep in mind, he just sold everything to give it to the poor. This poor man, he has nothing. He has to wake up in the middle of the night and flee to Egypt, presumably a country that he's never been to. Presumably, he didn't just bring his carpentry material with him. You don't just haul that stuff to Jerusalem to go to the temple to go consecrate your baby. So he takes nothing but whatever he happened to bring on his journey and makes a trip into a country he's never been to before, where he doesn't speak the language, where he has a skill that's not highly valuable. Yeah, you might be able to be employed, but you don't have your tools. You don't have any of your stuff. And he begins his life there. Just the complete and total abandonment to God, and just recognizing in St. Joseph and his father's heart the desires that he would have had to provide for Mary and to provide for Jesus. But the best he could do was a stable for the birth of the Son of God. And the best he could do was probably sleeping under a tree some nights on their journey from Jerusalem to Egypt. That was the best that he could do, but he gave them everything that he had, and he just trusted that it was going to be enough, trusted in God's divine providence every step of the way. So St. Joseph is something that if you're going to be a man in business, you have to have a devotion to St. Joseph. I think you really have to, because the desire that he had to lavish gifts upon his wife and child in this life, which he was not able to satisfy, I think God has given him a tremendous amount of power to be able to give us those gifts that he always wanted to give Mary and Jesus, but he wasn't able to because of God's providential plan.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Yeah, I love Joseph.
I appreciate that reflection. That's a great reflection to think about.